I'm Rachel with ImpressionsAtHome.com.
And I'm Elizabeth with RedoYou.com.
And today we're talking about kale for the non-kale eaters.
And I've been one of them. It's taken me about 1.5 years to learn to like kale, I'm embarrassed to say, as a health coach. Because kale, honestly, is one of the most nutritious things you can eat. It has twice the phytonutrients of things like turnips and beets and legumes and beans, things we already think are healthy. So how do we make this fibrous thing more palatable?
I know, it's kind of a difficult one. It took me a while to enjoy kale as well, but there's a few things that you can do to start introducing kale and make it simple and actually enjoy it in your diet. And one of those is first by cutting it into a chiffonade so it's easier to add to your salads and smoothies. But first, you're gonna wanna remove this really fibrous, bitter spine at the end here. And it's simpler than you think. Just hold it firmly in the end, and then take your hand and run it perfectly down the edge, and remove the spine like so.
Voila!
And you've got the good leaves here, and then you can just discard the spines.
Oh.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah, so just hold, remove, right down the side.
Break down.
You've got it. So it's kind of fun. The kids would enjoy doing this too. Remove all the spines. Perfect. So now you're ready to cut it up to add it to your salads, maybe make kale chips, whatever sort of application you're looking for. And instead of tearing it into larger chunks, I actually like to stack it and roll it and do a technique called a chiffonade. So I've got my whole stack of leaves here, kind of loosely roll them up.
And what does chiffonade mean,
It's
Rachel?
a French term, and it actually means ribbons. That's what you're going to kind of cut them into ribbons. So you've got your little roll of leaves, and you want to roll them because that's what makes them not bruise. So they still stay nice and delicate. Just slice right down the roll, just like this. And you've got these beautiful ribbons of kale.
Oh, beautiful.
I
love that.
So a great way to start eating kale, this is how I actually first began, is to start mixing it in with other greens. So here we've got some romaine. It's actually mix half and half your kale with your romaine or spinach. That way it's not all kale at one time. You can kind of sneak this in for your husband or kids too, which tends to work really well. Yes. So another way to break down the fibrousness of this really hearty, healthy green is to actually massage it. And I know that massaging sounds a little crazy, but it's a really good technique to, again, start breaking down the elements in the leaves. And you can actually do this in advance too, because the oil and the vinegar will help break it down, and you can kind of like make a marinated kale salad. So we've added a little olive oil, lemon juice, a little garlic, and salt and pepper. And then you're just gonna rub it between your fingers, kind of squishing it, massaging the olive oil and the acid, the lemon juice, into the leaves until it becomes this soft, silky leaf.
So you're probably wondering, we talked about phytonutrients at the beginning. Well, why the heck do we have to go through all this? Why should we be eating these phytonutrients? Well, dark leafy greens like kale and bok choy and Swiss chard all have lots of phytonutrients in them because they're actually fighting off the sun's UV rays. And when they're fighting off the sun's UV rays, they're making beneficial phytonutrients, and those are also beneficial for us. They help our immune system. So is that enough massaging?
That looks perfect. So see how it's kind of lost a little bit of its volume? And it's become a little bit soft and silky. Like here's one that we did earlier too, and it's got some really nice silky texture to it, and it's just a little bit softer. So you can just save this into your refrigerator, and that will get even more tender as it sits. And you can add it with a variety of different things. Like I like to do kale Caesars, but here's a nice one of a marinated kale with some toasted pecans, dried cranberries, and blue cheese.
That looks delicious. Wow. And with this chiffonade kale, that works really well in soups and other things too, doesn't it?
Yes, so it's more for than just salads. Try it sauteing it with pastas and vegetables, soups. You can even bake it into kale chips or blend it for a delicious green smoothie.
Ah, you've just learned another great way to dial down guilt and dial up delicious. If you want to learn more, visit our websites
at ImpressionsAtHome.com
and RedoYou.com.
Enjoy. Here's to healthy, happy eating.